So we're going to look at some submissions from mount, and also just the idea of progressing with our submissions even if we're starting to lose some control of the position, and that can actually be a way to maintain our control and even finish the end. Dan in mount, a really common thing is he's going to start beating this leg, and I end up in this quarter guard, half guard kind of scenario here, right? So when I'm here, I'm going to cross face and start setting up a choke, but this hand is way too loose for a choke right now. What I need to make sure is that this leg doesn't escape, so as he's working to continue to escape, I'm going to block that leg if I need to, so it can't come back up. And then I'll come up and I'll cinch. And then I'll keep going back and forth if I need to. Like he keeps working to escape, I'm going to keep blocking that. So I'm just setting up an obstacle. Like, yes, he can elevate my knee right now and start to get out, but I'm blocking that path, and then I can reset that control and cinch. And once I feel like I really made good contact with the neck, then I'll come over and I finish my choke from there. When I finish my choke, I'm going to do this a little bit looser, but I'm going to come down to the mat, and I want to hit in to get that pressure and control. And even if he escapes my feet at that point, if I've set this well enough, I should be able to finish it before he gets away. So this next one is a funky setup for a choke that I'm going to go for. So I'm going to start to set up like an Americana here. I'll go under his head, and then I'm going to come across here for a gnarly little Ezekiel style choke. So this is good because a lot of times when we're fighting for this arm's going to be moving around. He's not going to let me just set this and pull it down. Like he wants to get it away, so I'm just going to let it come up where he wants it, and then I work my arm under his head. Now I can bring this across and push down just like my regular Ezekiel. And I've got this anchor here that helps me get the pressure where I want it in this hand. And I've got it nice and trapped, and that's it up too. And then just the other point that I wanted to look at a little bit with mount is just the idea of like hip pressure. But this is going to go over what you're going to do.
No, that's great.
So as he's working to get out, if I'm just gripping with my feet, if I'm not using my weight very well, I don't have very much control of this position. He can really easily disrupt me. So as I'm working to control, a lot of what I'm doing is floating a little bit so that my hips drive down into him. And then I'm hooking with my feet to help move that weight where I need it to help control him. So I can get enough pressure that I can start working with my hands to start trying things out or going for chokes, but I'm not just static sitting on him hoping to control him and easily get a submission. So I get that pressure in with the hips. I can roll them side to side. I can slide up and start moving up to high mount. It's a mistake sometimes to just sit up once I get here because again I take that pressure off. So I'm using that pressure to help isolate the arms and set up threats. And rather than just thinking, okay, I've got to mount, time to go for submission, which somebody skilled is easily going to counter, I want to think more about, all right, I've made it this far, I'm past his legs, now I need to get some isolation here. So I need to get one of his arms in a compromised position or get enough exposure on his neck to get the submission. And to do that, I need both pressure and mobility. So that's where that hipping into the body, hooking sometimes, cross-facing, prying, and using the weight to help control them as I'm doing that.